Buddy, this is the Nothing But the Game streaming, not actually streaming. Man, I'm so used to the streaming side of things. I'm here with Matthew. We are going to be doing a new segment that we've always been kind of done on the live stream a little bit. We've gone over starts, our yays and nays is what we would call it. But now we're bringing this to you because we've evolved as comedic minds and really as individuals, period. And so we've brought to you today our starts and sharts for the week. And here we're going to go a little bit more in depth. We're going to hit, instead of just giving our main start and our main, sit, as what we used to say of the week, we're going to give you each position, who you should be sitting and who you should be, for lack of better words, run into that toilet to hopefully you can make sure you dump them down there this week. Was that poetically enough for you there?
That was beautiful. Oh my goodness.
I can
Painted
tell.
such a nice picture from my mind.
The reaction I was getting was just pure, you were into it. You couldn't feel any stronger about this. How you doing this week, man?
Doing great, brother. Looking forward to letting these people know really how to win their leagues in 4 simple steps. Start them. Don't start. Be more like 8 steps. Now that I think about it,
2 times, yes.
Take those 4 steps.
We've evolved as comedic, but not intellectually. Ooh, whoa, whoa. So let's keep the sleight of hand for another episode.
I am a wizard, but that's podcast.
Well, let's help maybe create some more points on some rosters here for some teams. We'll dive right into this. It's supposed to normally be a short video, never is with us. But so let's do our starts with quarterbacks. You want to take the lead on this one?
Yeah, I'll start her off here. At the quarterback position, I have young Mr. Jared Goff. He's had a tough outing the past couple games, but he's in line with his number 1 wide receiver as long as he doesn't get concussed at the beginning of the game again. And it's up against a team that lets the opposing teams throw up massive amounts of points to receivers every single week. We've had a handful of shootouts already, me and the Miami Dolphins this year. And if we know anything about Detroit, it's that they're going to let the opposing team throw up a lot of points. And most of the time, unless they're playing Dallas, they themselves are also going to throw up some handsome
numbers.
And
that's a separate story. If they're playing Dallas, that's more on the Dallas side. But
pretty stout D. But no, I just think it's going to be a great game for Jared. I think it's going to be a bounce back game, and especially if you're looking for some type of stream of the week this week with there being buys or DFS. I think he's a great pickup for those.
Yeah, no, I love that, and that, like you said, the defense is going to be giving up the points because their offense is scoring. So it's kind of that like give and take. Their defense Miami's is relatively decent, but because teams are nonstop throwing on them, quarterbacks put up some decent numbers against them fantasy wise. The quarterback that I'm taking this week on my start is good old Davis Mills. We out of Houston, man. It's nothing truly exciting coming out of there. I've loved him since he's coming out of Stanford. Hitting Houston is a great opportunity for him. But this week, man, you're going up against Tennessee. I don't know, they're allowing the 26th most points quarterbacks fantasy wise. Their quarterback situation itself is kind of up in the air. So that's an interesting one, just with Ryan Tannehill being, dinged up. But either way, it's not going to be a high point scoring game. I think the over under is like at 40 points or something like that. But Davis Mills, I think, is going to be connecting with Mr. Brandon Cooks. He's going to want to kind of bump up that resume for people to kind of maybe make some trades for him coming out of going towards the end of, the trade deadline. And maybe hit up some Green Bay, going out to Green Bay there. If you watch our live stream on Wednesdays, we were talking about Brandon Cooks being a Green Bay prospect. It'll be a great opportunity. So yeah, I've got Davis Mills is my start of the week. And on the flip side, I mentioned Green Bay. I'll just flow into my shart. My first shart ever on here will be Aaron Rodgers. He's I've said washed. I feel like that's a harsh word in the past, and I apologize for using the word washed. He's not washed. It's just not. There's no chemistry. There's something going on there where he's just not engaged. The wide receivers that he has, there's nothing seems like he's just kind of going through the motions, even if in the interviews. I don't know what's going on there. But for this week, going up against Buffalo, I have to be getting rid of him. But I think we may be like minded on this one.
Yep, we are. I agree. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, you've been struggling all year with your wide receivers and as a quarterback in
Mm-hmm.
general. And I just think that his wide receiver core right now and him just aren't clicking on the same page. And then you're going in to play Buffalo. It's just a recipe for disaster, man. So I think we're both in line on the shark train on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, we'll be looking at the running back position. So I'll go ahead
Yeah,
and,
go for it.
let you know where I'm going with that one. And I'm taking my bow, I'm putting my arrow on there, and I'm saying, you know what? I think this guy's going to be injured right here. All right, he's down. Let's use his backup and start him. I think Tony Pollard is going to get
Ooh.
a fantastic start this week,
Oh hell
considering
yeah.
like Zeke is going to be hurt with an arrow to the knee. Sorry, guys.
Mm.
And so, he's looking like he might be out this week. So if Zeke is certainly out this week, then I think that he is even more of a smash play. But even considering even if Zeke does play with him being banged up, I think Tony Pollard against the Chicago Bears would be just a wise decision.
Oh yeah. I love it. And I love Tony Pollard, period, honestly. But yeah, that's a great selection there. And I'm going to go a little bit more on the I don't know, it is kind of the backup role here. But somebody else has got the bigger name going over there. Everybody's been talking about James Robinson jumping in on this train
Yep.
over into the New York Jets. But I'm going to go with Michael Carter for this week. I
How
think
dare
that you
you know I
what
had Bruce Hall? How dare
oh,
you
oh
bring up Michael Carter right now?
man,
Okay, that's a good choice.
Michael Carter. I don't know. It's I like what he does where he can fall in there. I think with what's going on right now, it's going to be very Zach Wilson dependent. If he can actually get the ball to Michael Carter out of the backfields and get into a flow, Zach Wilson is going to be dependent on Michael Carter for some of that, getting into a flow, making sure he's hitting his targets, and Michael Carter is going to be open because I think that they're going to be he's going to be the focal point on the defensive side to make sure, hey, let's prove that he can actually beat us. And Michael Carter is going to kind of be on that receiving end, either the rushing side and receiving side of things. And James Robinson will come in there, and I think he can easily jump in on that offense and produce some. But for this week, I'm just digging where he's going, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Hopefully, at
Yeah,
least he has a
no, I
peak
think that's a
week.
good pick. Yeah, I mean Carter's dominated pre Brees Hall, and then even with Brees Hall, Carter's been a very good running back in general. So I don't think that's a bad pick at all. I think
Yeah,
it's
the value
pretty
should
solid.
be there. I took the chart first last time here, so I'm going to let you have the honors.
All right, well, get ready to change those underpants because if you're starting Daryl Henderson, you're going to be in for a stanky week. Uh, Daryl Henderson is not a bad player, and so I'm not sharding on him as a man, nay, but
Never.
as a
We should put that as a
no,
preface. We're not doing this as individuals.
yes,
Never attacking that.
no. Daryl, I had you on my team last year when I won the championship, so I got a sweet, sweet spot in my heart for you. Just not right now.
Mm,
When you're going up against the 49ers and your
yep.
team kind of looks like they're a little wry with just everything right now, unless your name's
Mm-hmm.
Cooper Cup. Um, I just don't think that he would be a wise decision if you have someone to fill in that's not named Daryl Henderson. That's serviceable. I would highly recommend that
Maybe
this
named
week.
Michael Carter or Tony Pollard.
Or Tony
Maybe
Pollard.
one of
Not Brees
those.
Hall. I wouldn't play him this week personally. Um,
What? Yeah.
I'd love to.
Sage
I'd love to play
advice.
him, but yeah,
You are the tumbleweed through the desert of
yeah.
the tumbleweed of knowledge out in the desert here. So I'm going to piggyback on you. As much as this stuff we like to pretend that it's prepped, we kind of shoot from the hip here. And I also have Daryl Henderson on my sit my shart. Ooh man, I said sit. That's like I feel like that's the no word in this episode.
Well, if
Let's
there's one
let's
thing I'm learning in this episode, it's that we like to shart in the same pants.
man, it is yeah. We're not afraid of it by
Yeah,
any means. Embrace it. I think what's that Adam Sandler movie where the kid pees his pants and he really just
yeah.
embraces
You
it and
know,
pees his pants with
ooh,
him.
pants. Yep.
Yep, we're just doing that, but on the opposite side here. So, and Daryl Henderson, man, nothing like you said, nothing against. It's just San Francisco. You know, he may see more work with the whole Cam Akers trying wanting to get out of there, and
Yeah.
holler at Baltimore, go get yourself some Cam Akers. But
Right.
I maybe who knows, maybe Cam Akers will then all of a sudden get an increased workload. You never know how these things actually go in the locker room.
How
But
many
yeah,
how many Achilles injuries are you allowed on one roster at running back?
well, I truly believe that Baltimore's already alerted Guinness books and is letting them know, hey, get ready. We've got a new record for you.
Damn.
In
You get
three
the damn
weeks,
ready. You get them over here.
in 3 weeks, we're about to acquire a guy. I guarantee you, in 3 weeks, you've got a new one.
And they're all going to be active. That's the big part.
They'll they'll be questionable until the point of actual decision time. Then it's
Yeah. They're all active, and we're not sure who we're playing this week. So good luck.
oh goodness.
Uh,
Where were we talking? Oh, yes, Daryl Henderson. Yeah, we've had said enough about him. Man, we yes. So I'll go ahead jump on to my start for wide receivers then. I've
yep.
got the just ready to rock preseason. Everybody was like, hey, rocketing out of there. He's a top 10 wide receiver, and his quarterback, I feel like, has held him back. But now he has the I know how to win. I don't care what the circumstances are. Sam Ellinger throwing to him. And Michael
Oh,
Pittman Jr. is
Windy
going to
City.
be your start of the week. I know people may be shying off of him because of that. I think that he is going to, if you watched our show Wednesday, I mentioned that Sam Ellinger is very chemistry dependent,
Mhm.
but them both coming in the same time frame, I believe that they've got that kind of natural chemistry building in there. And Michael Pittman is already he's a freaking stud wide receiver. And Sam Mellinger, I believe, will be able to get that ball fed to him, if not just force feed him. Who knows?
Yeah,
And
well,
Pittman's going to
that's
get some of
I'm
those
on the.
points
I
going.
agree with you on that. No matter if you're a reliant quarterback or not, I think if it's your first like starting job in the NFL, innately at quarterback as a young quarterback, you're going to be looking to the safety
Oh
net,
yeah,
which is going to be your best, your best passing option. And so I agree. I think Michael Pittman's going to be in for a massive workload.
yeah.
So, which is
Hopefully,
exciting because I've got him in a couple leagues, and he's been a bit of a roller coaster. Speaking of roller coasters, let's segue into this little guy right
oh,
here. His name is
bro.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, the
Oh,
wide receiver for Jared Goff. The only
going
reason I put
heavy
him in,
Lions here.
yeah, the reason is because I wouldn't be able to do this if Amon-Ra had been Amon-Ra the past 3 weeks, but he's
Mm-hmm.
been out or in and then out. And so he hasn't really seen a lot of action. I think people are going to be afraid to play him this week, maybe because of what happened last week. But the fact of the
Yeah.
matter is, I understand concussion protocol right now is kind of whack, and that really hurt everyone, including me that owned him. Really sucked.
Not bitter at all.
Very bitter. But all that to be said, he's going up against Miami. If Jared Goff's going to have a monster game, then his number one target's going to have a
Oh,
monster game,
hell
and
yeah.
that's Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh, you're
So
yeah.
I just think he's a fantastic play this week. And if you got him, start him. Don't question it. Just throw him in there, and
Don't hesitate.
don't
And
hesitate.
clearly in here we're trying to give some reinforcement because there are you have those guys that should be producing, but there's those hesitating factors.
Yep.
And so sometimes we want to come in here and make you add that reinforcing voice. Don't second guess it. You have the confidence to put that guy in that lineup. Who do you have on your short list today?
Stinky pants players. I
Hmm.
got I got at wide receiver. I have Deontay Johnson. Side note for any
Ooh.
Steeler.
Any Steeler.
So
Does
basic,
that count wide like
yeah.
tight ends as well?
No, honestly, at tight end, I think that you could play Mr. Goddard, because there's so few
You
tight
mean
ends to.
Fryermuth?
I mean, why did I say Goddard? Yeah, sorry, Pat Freiermuth. Um, yeah, I think yeah, I was thinking the Eagles, the people that they're playing against. No, actually, I disagree. I changed my mind.
Oh,
Let's just skip that because we have other charts for the week. So
gotcha. Man, I may
let's
have shot
um
my this episode in the foot here.
yeah, gosh. Cut. Can we cut? Can we start? Can we re-roll this?
It's
No,
impossible. Even though it's not live, it's physically impossible.
no, I would just say Philadelphia's Philadelphia, and they're ridiculous. And you got a rookie quarterback that's still trying to learn his offense. I just wouldn't trust anyone on the Steelers right now, wide receiver
It,
wise, pass wise.
I'm there with you. I've got my chart here, and it was kind of a which one do I pick? Deontay Johnson was on that list here. And I've ended up deciding on Terry McLaurin. So we're going the opposite side. You know, Michael Pittman start, team that is going up against here, Terry McLaurin. Indianapolis, even though they are struggling as a team in general to find what they're supposed to be, you know, what they're needing to be doing, identity, whatever it is, their defense is allowing the second least amount of points against wide receivers this year. And that might be because teams just get out on lead. Who knows? There's a lot of different, you know, things to look at on there. I personally believe because they do have a really good defense. Indianapolis does.
Yeah,
And Terry McLaurin is now dependent on a backup and a seasoned backup. He's got experience, almost a full season's worth at a single time, but you don't know. Like I have no clue. So that's why I've got Terry McLaurin in here. He's one of those guys that kind of teeter on that. The season's been weird at the beginning, then he kind of had a good game. This is me. You know, we were here to give you the reinforcing voice and to start somebody. This is one of those guys that you may be teetering on the flex side. Hey, I want to start him even on my flex, you know, unless you're just in a massively deep league. So
yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good pick. I
Yeah.
agree.
Well,
All right, you got it. Your tight ends.
I'll go
Who'd you
ahead and
pick for
start
week
here
one?
with my tight end, and this is no lie, my start sit in this one right here. In my big, you know, everybody has like a main league that you really kind of just like hone in on, hope that you're doing well in. My main league, I'm doing this exact thing. I'm starting this tight end, and I'm sitting the tight end that I'm going to say later. I start of the week right now. The main tight end for Cleveland is out with Njoku, who's been outstanding, fun to watch. But I think the guy and even the other tight end with them back. So the only real operational tight end right now is Harrison Bryant at Cleveland. And then he has shown that he's got the size. He's like 6'3", whatever weight, you know, whatever normal professional weight that would be at that, you know, in that field, a big guy, and he'll be able to provide that target for the Browns to actually they're going to need consistent red zone can touchdowns to actually compete, and I think
Yeah.
he's going to be a very important piece in that game.
Yep, I agree, man. I
Yeah.
agree. No, that's a smart one.
Hopefully you don't
I didn't
agree
think
enough
about
to
him.
have him as your start too. We can't have too many duplicates.
I do. So mine is Harrison. No,
No,
so
damn
no,
it.
darn it. No, I didn't even think about him, but that is a decent start. I'll be honest. The tight end position, I was looking through them and I was like, I don't really know if there's any matchup that I'm just absolutely loving right now. So what I did was I chose my favorite based off of appearance, and there's a guy that's
Ooh.
on the scene this week, and he also bursted on the scene both with points, a decent, respectable amount of points, and with style and just pizzazz and just yeah. So I'm going with Greg Dulcich is my
Ooh.
strike.
Oh, nice. Okay.
If you're gonna win, win with style. If you're gonna lose, look good
Lose
doing
style.
it. Okay. So Greg, win-win situation, right?
That's how I pick all my March Madness lineups too, is
Sure.
just style. Who has the
Yeah.
most stylish team?
Hey, what's your most handsome player look like? Okay, well, yeah, that's pretty good.
You got JJ Redick that year. I actually performed decently well
Yeah,
in my March Madness, but
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, but for real, no, he's talented and he looked really good in his outing. And uh, but also for real, I wasn't seeing any matchups that I absolutely loved.
Mm-hmm.
So he was kind of my go-to man. I liked his swag and he looked good out on the field. So throw him out there for this week. And then as far as the stankers go, the Sharts, um, you ruined it earlier, but Pat Fryermuth, I just
Once again, we do not do not do enough planning on this to know ahead of time, so I apologize.
yes, they're playing Philadelphia. They don't look like they are a well-oiled machine in the passing game right now. I'm taking a step back from any of those wideouts slash tight ends for this
Man,
week. So
yeah, I'm all about the whole the Pickens and even
yeah,
Fryermuth connection. It is requiring there is visibly a connection there, and I love watching it as the team isn't good, but just seeing what is able to be done, they do have a great framework going
yeah.
on. But against the Eagles, like you were saying, yeah, I don't just not liking any of that mojo right
I
now.
just don't think that that Pickens has faced a pass rush like this before, and I just don't think that he's going
No,
to be able
I mean, and
to perform
they just
the way
added
that you want.
Quinn too, and as the
Yeah,
defensive end,
yeah,
you can just plug and
yeah,
play. Oh, I need to learn the playbook. No, I know what I got to do. Just freaking let me get in there. And Quinn, I
yep,
mean, as a Cowboys fan, know what he can do, getting rid
yep.
of him, and then what in Chicago, what he's been able to do. So, he's been outstanding, and that's gonna even, yeah, I'm all for that. I didn't even think about him in this realm. I don't know why, but the guy that I've got, and it's a polarizing player because of the fact that he is a top 3 tight end coming into the season, and a lot of people have already said, "Hey, don't play him." I've got Kyle Pitts, and it's not because of his lack of ability. It's whenever I'm watching these games, and most of the time, the guys that I'm picking out here, I can't watch every single game, but I try to watch the film as much as possible. And whenever I'm watching these games, and you are on the 8-yard line, and he watching this film in Florida, he was a good blocker. Nothing to shy
Mhm.
away from. The reason why he got the draft capital because he's an all-around player. But if you're on the 8-yard line and you're in a I formation, you're just ready to get at it with your running back, and you don't have Pitts out there at all. To me, there's something weird about this. You don't have a 6'6" tight end. He runs like a 4'4".
Yeah,
You could have my dad could go out there and throw a fade to the corner, and you'd still have a 50% chance of him catching it. Like it's
yeah.
just I don't know what's
Or
going on.
no, the whole organization. You've got it's either Pitts or Drake London. You got two of the
Yeah, you don't see
tallest.
Drake London out there. He's out there more than Pitts is though. But yeah,
Yeah,
he's
but
still
I'm
not
just saying
utilized in
you've
those
got
ending.
two of the tallest, most high percentage
Athletic.
50 ball athletic catchers on your team in the
Mm-hmm.
NFL, and you're throwing the ball sub 20 times every single game. You spent that massive amount of draft capital 2 years in a row,
Mm-hmm.
two first-round draft picks, one on Kyle Pitts, one on Drake London, and you're running the ball 579,000 times a game.
And there's a lot of people that are jumping in as you can't, Atlanta's winning, and they're winning, they're outperforming of what
Kinda.
they should do normally, like what people I guess
It's a
preseason
good thing.
thought. But people also preseason thought that the Giants would be probably have had 2 wins, 2-4 this at this point, 2-5,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
what people think
Yeah,
ahead of
but
time.
Barkley's been great. Their new coach has been
Yeah, but
great.
nobody
Daniel
had them at
Jones.
6-1. So,
Yeah,
but
but
it's on the Atlanta side, it is, I think, a massive misuse of talent. And
yeah,
yeah,
it
you don't have
is.
like a set quarterback, but you have Mariota who is performing decently. He really is performing decently. And
Yeah, but he's not passing it.
no, I know, but I mean, as a quarterback operation, when he is passing, he is performing decently.
Yeah,
And I don't think that Ritter is your solution here. So I don't know, maybe the office is doing something different here, but the reason I'm putting Pitts down is because I just don't trust his utilization at
Yeah,
all.
no, I agree. Absolutely.
And it breaks my heart to
Absolutely.
say because he
I
was,
think they had 13 completions last week, if I'm not mistaken.
it, yeah,
So,
they're gonna have to do something, and they have to introduce, because Drake London has had peak games. Pitts has had, let me look up real quickly on here. I don't even know if Pitts has had a game over 10 points. Okay, he's had one game over 10 points in week 3 against Seattle. At least, based on, half PPR. But even that's not, you drafted him as a top 3 tight end, if not top number 1, and
yeah,
depending. And so, yeah, I'm sitting him, and like I said earlier, I am putting Harrison Bryant in on my roster ahead of Kyle Pitts, barring some crazy weird news that comes out. So,
I think that's a
yeah.
good idea. Hey, that's how you win games, man.
I mean, yeah,
Bold
yeah. You
managerial
can't
move.
be. You have to. The draft is the draft, and you have to know where it is. Even if you're in a dynasty league and you drafted those guys years ago, and you're stuck with them. You
Yep,
can't. You have to be like water, man. You have to kind of flow. And that's what we
yep.
want to kind of bring here is some info. Hey Matthew, you want to sign us off here? Thank
Yeah, guys.
everybody
So
joining
this
in.
is our initial inaugurational segment of the starts and the sharts.
Hmm.
So I hope that y'all appreciated what we brought to the table here. If you think we're stupid and you had different opinions, let us know. We'll be glad to
No
prove you
matter
wrong.
what,
And if you think that we're right and we're super intelligent, let us know, and we'll be
we'll prove
happy
you
to
wrong.
say yes. Yeah. But no, this is something we're going to be looking at doing every week, just to get out there before the main slate of the games start, and give you all an idea of kind of where we think players are at this week, what their
Hmm.
matchups are looking like. Just give you a little bit of insight into plays that we think are smart and which ones we think are nart.
Not, ooh, man, just
Narts,
continuing the
narts,
AR combo.
narts, and
Ooh, no,
narts.
that's not the AR
So
combo. That's a
just a
better way to
little
say this.
next level intelligence wordplay there. But yeah, that's it for us, guys. You got anything you want to say?
No, man, it's just definitely subscribe to us on the YouTube channel. Here we got live every Wednesday 8 p.m. and we're also putting out our college videos. The next one we'll be doing is our top 15 Devi prospects, just all
Mm.
around, not just this year, but just Devi prospects this upcoming year. So definitely subscribe to get
All
news
the
on when
way
that's
through
going to drop.
preschool prospects currently. So
Man, I have got this kid out
mm,
of Martinsville, Texas.
five
Man,
years
I
old.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, yeah. Keep your eyes on him.
All right, guys. Thank you all for joining us today, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.
We can cut this, but it's just taking forever to stop.